class we are going to discuss about the measurement of length in that indirect method. Indirect method, for example, if we are unable to reach the two endpoints, one endpoint we are able to reach, and if another endpoint is not able to reach, then we'll go for indirect method. And here we can consider the height of a hill or depth of the sea, like that. So in this indirect method, again we will consider two different things here. One is large distance and another one is small distance. In this large distance, here we will consider first method is distance x equal to v into t, that means speed into time. And second method is trigonometry method. So these are the two methods. So for these methods, what we will do is, for example, you consider a wall. A wall is at certain distance. So this is the wall, and here we are here, and here we are unable to go to that wall. So what we are doing is, we are sending a sound wave from here. So the sound wave is traveling to the wall, it hits the wall, and again the sound wave will come back. So the coming back of the sound wave, this is called as echo, and it comes back. And here what we'll do is, while releasing the sound wave, we'll consider the time, and when the sound wave returns back, we'll consider the time. So by that we will know the time, and we know the speed of sound in air. So speed also we know. So by taking the time and speed, we can have the distance from this point to the wall point, this point to wall point. So this is one method. This method happens due to a reflection of sound. In the same way, if you consider a sea, this is a sea, and this is the depth of the sea, and if you consider here is a ship, so from this ship we will send sound waves. So the sound waves will reach at the bottom of the sea, and again they will come back, reflect back. So here there will be a sender and receiver also. So the time will be calculated, the sending time and receiving time. So the sending time and receiving time, so we will have time, and we will have the speed of sound in water. So by multiplying these two, we will get the distance also. For example, after some time, if the ship moved up to this place, and here the sound waves moved to this place, and they again reflect back. So that means we may know that the time will be reduced here. Why? Because the sound waves are coming up to here and coming back. So by that we can come to know that there is a submarine or any other whale or something. So like that we will find the distance of the unknown end. One endpoint if you know, and we don't know the other end, then we will use this indirect method by using this formula. Here we are sending sound waves. Here definitely normal sound waves may not move up to this end. We have to use ultrasounds. Ultrasounds means which are having a frequency of 20,000 hertz. We may not hear that sounds also, but only by the sender and the receiver transmitter we will have the time. That means why we are not able to hear means the human audible range is 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz. This is our audible range, frequency of sound. If we, more than that, we call that as ultrasonic sounds or ultrasounds. So definitely these waves should be more than 20,000 hertz. Then only the sound will have certain energy to travel from such a long distance. There is high frequency, the energy of sound also will be high and they can travel. Here in this case, we can emit a light wave also. But light wave travels very fast than sound. Meanwhile, while emitting a light, we have to calculate the time. So to set the time, immediately it will come back. So there will be no chance to calculate the time. Light wave can be used for the long distance, such as from planet to planet, planet to star. So in such situations, we use the light wave. And for the distance detection, we may use radio waves and microwaves. Radio waves and microwaves. Here, the radio waves have a frequency of 30 Hz to 300 gigahertz. So this is the frequency of radio waves. And coming to the microwaves, they are having a frequency of 300 megahertz to 300 gigahertz. So this is the frequency of microwaves. And here we have to consider one thing. If here is some object, I have to find the distance of the object. And here I am emitting some waves. So when I am emitting the waves, the waves may not directly hit the target or object. Why? Because the waves are cohesive in nature. They are having some cohesiveness in the sense the rays will diverge apart. See, for example, if I emit some rays in like this, up to some extent they will go like this. After that, they will deviate apart. So this is called as diffraction of light or diffraction of waves. So only, for example, if I emit 1000 waves, only 10% of the waves will reach to the object, and after reaching the object, again they will reflect back. So while the reflection also, only 90% will diffract and only 10% will reach here. That means 1% of waves will reach back. So to reduce this diffraction, what you have to do is, if the wavelength of the waves are less, then diffraction also will be less. Wavelength lambda is directly proportional to diffraction. So if the wavelength is less, the diffraction also will be less. If the wavelength is more, diffraction also will be more. See, if you consider here, the radio waves have a high frequency and these radio waves have high wavelength also. Wavelength is high here for radio waves, but for microwaves, frequency is high and wavelength is very less here. That means here the wavelength will be 300 at a frequency of 300 megahertz. The wavelength will be 1 meter, and at 300 gigahertz the wavelength will be 1 mm. So wavelength becomes very small. So the diffraction also will be very small for microwaves. But if you compare radio waves, the wavelength also increases with the frequency. So radio waves diffracts more. Why? Because wavelength is also more. So we may use this radio waves as radar. Radar means radio detection and ranging. So that is called as radar. Radar signals are used to identify the aeroplane, where the aeroplane is, to trace out the aeroplane, and to here we can find the distance traveled by the aeroplane, and the speed traveled by the aeroplane also can be, and direction also can be detected by using this radar. Why? Because the radar signals are having high frequency as well as high wavelength. Due to their high wavelength, they can diffract a part, more they will diffract. So as we are sending the radar, the waves will diffract, and wherever the aeroplane is, there the reflection takes place. The waves comes back, and again the waves will move apart, aeroplane position also will change, and again the reflection of these waves also changes. By that we can identify the what we call location of the aeroplane, and the speed traveled by the aeroplane can be detected using these radars. So like this we can identify the or find out the distance by using this method. Here the known quantity is the observable quantities are time and speed. At least we have to know the speed of waves in air and water, and observable quantity is time here. By detecting the time, we can this is the known quantity, and we can find out the distance of the object. So this is one method. In indirect method to find the measurement of length. In next class we are going to see about the trigonometry method to find the measurement of length in indirect method. Thank you.